I'm a full-time reseller and I thrift for a living. I go to Goodwills and yard sales to find things to flip online for a profit. Some of my biggest sellers are clothing items. Here's a few tips if you're just getting started. I do wash about 95% of the items I pick up. Some of the exceptions are that vintage t-shirt and leather jackets, and of course wool, cashmere, or just things that are new with tags I do not wash. For the items I do wash, I use an unscented detergent. Let's get started. Whenever you're photographing clothing, it's crucial you have good lighting and a neutral background. I go with something cream or white. A couple good hangers, one for tops and one for bottoms. Yard sales are the best place to find these. A lint roller and a measuring tape. You can also use a clothing measuring tape. It's up to you. Some scissors to cut off any loose tags, and poly bags. My most used size is 12 by 16. 12 by 15 that I get on Amazon also works well. For larger items such as coats, I use the size 18 by 24 inches. I only purchase one size poly mailer for shipping, so the item that gets poly bagged in the clear bag will go in this 24 by 24 inch. I do cut them in half or in thirds, just depending on the size of the clothing item. You're also going to want a steamer on hand. I use a handheld one and it works great. This next one isn't a must, but it's definitely helpful. It's my ready to list template. So you're going to have the date and everything that you're going to need whenever you go to list. You're going to write down on this paper. It's pretty helpful when it comes to listing clothing on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and any other selling platform. Let's get photographing. I'm going to cut off that Goodwill tag and then I'm going to hang it up, and we're going to steam this just because it has a few wrinkles. Presentation is everything whenever you are trying to sell an item, so make sure you have good photos and the item looks presentable. Make sure your photos are in square mode, so you're going to hit that down arrow, 4:3, and then square mode. This is going to be on an iPhone. If you have an Android, I do have a video somewhere on my page that explains how to do that also, but Google will be your best friend. You want to make sure you take good photos. You can move that sun up and down to kind of change the lighting. Just make sure you keep it as the color that the item actually is. You don't want an unhappy buyer. Be sure to photograph any small details such as writing that has the year that the t-shirt was made on it. So that's what I'm doing right here, and I'm just darkening it so they can see the writing a little better. Make sure you photograph and list in the description any and all flaws. Don't forget the size tag and the material tag. Buyers want to know what the item's made of. Now it's time to measure, and that's where your template's going to come in handy. All you're going to do is write down the measurements as you go. The first measurement I do on t-shirts is pit to pit. So I'm going to lay that t-shirt flat, and then we're going to get the chest measurement, which is also known as pit to pit. I also like to measure the length of the t-shirt, so you're going to go at the top of the shoulder there next to the neckline down to the bottom hem of the shirt. As you can see, my template has measurements as if you were doing tops or bottoms. It's pretty simple. After that, we're just going to fold it up nicely and put it into the poly bag. Now if you are new, you're going to want to measure the poly bag or the item itself in the poly bag, so whenever you go to list it, you know what measurements to put inside the listing. You can write this on the template inside the box of the item. When this item sells, I will take my 24 by 24 inch poly mailer and cut it in half or thirds, tape it up, and then ship it out that way. It does get shipped in the clear poly mailer also because I want it to stay in the condition it was photographed in. One of the most important things to remember is the location of where the item's at, so once it sells, you know exactly where it is. We use totes, and these are stackable totes. Our totes all have a number, so this one is T226, so the location is T226. Now I'm going to show you how I'm going to list this item. Perfect thing about my templates is you can list when you're watching Netflix, at your kiddos' games, doctor's appointments, the list goes on, you guys. You can list pretty much anywhere. Now let's get listing. I'm going to go into my eBay app, click the camera icon, and we're going to click image down there on the bottom left. This is going to get into your photos, and I'm just going to find the photo of the item I'm listing. In this case, it's the Sting shirt. When this way fails to bring up something, I use the Google Lens app, but this one brought up some items, so you're going to hit filter, scroll down, and click sold and completed. This is going to show you the ones that have sold in the last 90 days on eBay and for how much. Looks like these are selling between $40 to $60. I'm going to go ahead and click one of these because I like using eBay's sell similar feature, and I'm going to list my item that way. Just click sell one like this, and you're going to enter in the details to match your exact item. Make sure you use your own photos that you took yourself. Do not use the photos that somebody else used or stock photos because you will get dinged on eBay. Always double check them to make sure they look good. Now you just need to fill in all the details. The title, I'm going to change the size because mine is a large instead of an extra large. Next is condition. Mine is used, so I'm going to click use condition, and then we're going to do item specifics. This is probably the most important section. When using the sell similar feature on eBay, make sure you always double check this so it matches your exact item. I'm going to go ahead and change the size size because mine is a large, and then scroll on down and double check any details. Everything else looks good, so we're going to scroll to the bottom to the custom SKU. Whenever I'm doing my custom SKU, I always put where the item's located, the date that I listed it, and how much I paid for it. This is only visible to you. The buyers cannot see this. When it comes to the item description, I do use AI. I just always proofread and double check because I have found a few mistakes. So if you do use the AI feature, make sure you double check. Now in the description, that's where I put my measurements that I put on my ready to list template. So we're going to do the pit to pit and the length. And I do also put where it's located just as like a double fail-safe feature in case I forget to put it in the custom SKU. Some new sellers struggle with pricing. We price to negotiate, so we always overprice the item compared to what it recently sold for. You can run your business how you want to. This is just how we do it. So I'm going to list it at $79.95. We do run sales and send daily offers. When it comes to shipping on eBay, it could be intimidating to some, but you guys don't make it any harder than what it is. If you measured your item, you know exactly what you're going to put in this box, but I do always over measure and overweigh slightly. We use eBay's calculated shipping, so the price of shipping is based on the distance between us and the buyer. If you have incorrect measurements, it's going to cost you some money. I'll leave the link to my video, Reselling 101, that explains how to set up your shipping preferences. We also promote our items between 5 to 7%. I start at 5% and my husband will slowly raise it the longer the item is listed. eBay takes that percentage of the total sell, so keep that in mind when promoting. And that's pretty much it, you guys. Now I'll hop on Nifty and I will cross post this to my 3 other platforms. Try it free and then use my code to save 15% off your first month. The link will be in the comments.